Welcome back to Cheche here on Citizen TV. Today's guest is South Sudan's ambassador to Kenya, Majok Guandong. And we've been talking about the situation in Juba. Just before the break, we were talking about the safety of Kenyans and other foreigners there. So I want to put some of our viewer messages to you. I've been to Juba many times. I know it's one of the most corrupt places on earth. And they don't get on with Kenyans despite all that Kenyans have done for them. My question to the envoy is, what happens to our investments, and how can Kenyans who want to leave the country do so as the borders and airports are closed? And that came from Abdi Rahman in Nairobi.
Well, of course, you know, when you have any military situation, the government is bound to control the border because you want to provide safety for those people. And if the airport is closed, how would you come out from that country? The roads are open. Yes, they can come out through roads, but how would they come out from Juba? Because the situation is only in Juba. Those who are in other states, any state, they can come out. They can use the buses, they can use vehicles. And I don't think there is any...
But you did say the airport would be open today.
The airport will be open today, according to the government.
Okay, criticism of the administration from Dr. Eric in Nairobi. President Kiir is practicing dictatorship in South Sudan. He forgot the struggle his fellow Southern Sudanese went through not long ago. Let him be accommodative of dissenting voices to nurture democracy. And then there's this one who asks, why is the country being governed through presidential decrees if there's a vibrant democracy, as you say?
Well, I think there is mix between the two. There is mix between the legitimate authority, because the state must have an authority, otherwise it will not be a government if they don't have authority. And people will think that there is a dictatorship tendency. This is misuse of the word. President Salva, if there is few people who really advocating for democracy in the country, is one of them. And therefore, what is following a legitimate means through power that given to him through election, when he was elected by the people, and the decrees you are talking about. This is constitutional mandate that the president will appoint and dismiss the cabinet. That is legitimate right.
Okay.
How strong is the opposition?
Well, we have an opposition of various political parties, but there's only one party which have members in parliament, the SPLM-DC and the Lama Corps. The rest have no members in parliament. In the last election, they all did not get members of parliament.
Right. A viewer texts in a question related to that. Dr. Salva Kiir dismissed elected governors in Lakes and Unity states. Elections have not been held yet, yet 60 days are over as per the Constitution. Why? It's believed that this was a stage-managed coup to arrest opponents within the SPLM who wanted to form another political party ahead of the countdown to elections of 2015. Can you answer that? Also, civilian disarmament has been done in non-Dinka areas, leaving other ethnic groups vulnerable. Why? And that came from your namesake, but he doesn't say where, Majok.
Well, I think the dismissal of the two governors, you know, the Constitution gave the president the right to dismiss officials of government, including political appointees. So it is a legitimate right for the president. How the 60 days has elapsed without election being conducted according to the Constitution, I think from the state authorities, they make a recommendation that it was not possible for this time. You know, we had some flooding and some of the heavy rain, and then you know most of these places are swampy, so you cannot even access them through the rainy season. So the state assemblies were the ones that made the recommendation that election was not feasible or possible at the moment.
But I think, Your Excellency, the situation in South Sudan, you say Parliament is dominated by the ruling party.
Yes.
The president is ruling by constitutional means. This has been the story all through. And when you say that these areas like the counties that have not held elections because they are swampy, I don't think the whole county or the two counties are that swampy not to be able to hold elections, because you must follow the constitution. If the president decides that it is now too hot to hold elections, so elections will not be held. Why not go ahead? Because democracy is the rule, the right for people to express themselves through the ballot.
Well, our election are held during the dry season. You know now we have no roads. You see, during the rainy season, most of the states are not accessible by vehicles or except through the air. So most of our election, and I think it is deliberately designed that election will take place during the dry season, so that you are able to access all as much as you could. But during the rainy season, it is not possible.
With a parliament dominated by one party, how do people ventilate? And that could be the problem.
No, the parliament, of course, they must go through according to the constitution. The constitution says there should be election every 5 years. So that thing is stipulated in the constitution. And even if the ruling party, for whatever reason, wanted to delay, the opposition will not accept.
Okay. Very quickly, going back to the issue of safety, some viewers point out the issue of Kenyans being killed in South Sudan should not arise in this situation. South Sudanese are also receiving dead bodies from Kenya. This from Akim. Death is everywhere, including Kenya. Last year, a South Sudanese boy was chopped up by unknown Kenyans, but we didn't blame innocent Kenyans. We took it as as a death. South Sudanese was a student at Kenyatta University, was also killed by Kenyans during the day at Githurai. Nothing was done by the government. So just reminding us that the situation's going back both sides. But one person Lusweti points out that Sudanese don't hate Kenyans. It's general insecurity, where also South Sudanese are killed. It's a situation resembling what we're seeing in various parts of Kenya. Yeah? So then we go back to the issue of why you're not learning lessons from the rest of us.
Which lesson is that?
Lessons in governance, lessons in protecting your citizens, lessons in ensuring that you do have a functioning democracy, because the balance of the messages that are coming in suggest that I think there's very little ventilation space.
Well, that is not correct. You know, in our constitution, it stipulates that South Sudan must be ruled through a multi-party system, which we have already allowed. As we speak now, we have more than
nominally
20,
is what
more
our
than
views
20. Not nominally.
Suggest.
It's not nominally, because individuals come together and they form their own party, and it is allowed by the government. The government have already now appointed the election commission, and now appointed the commission for political parties, and all the political parties are free to advocate according to their manifestos. And I think the question of democracy for us is foregone conclusion, that we must be a democratic country, we must follow the constitution, and the opposition also have the role to play in guiding the people forward.
Machar, they had a press conference, which seems to have angered the system. So we had a counter response from the same vice president who took over from him. And then this purported coup. Don't you connect the two, or the three of them?
Well, as I told you,
that you don't allow dissent.
As I told you earlier, that individual political parties, groups have the right to advocate what they believe in through peaceful means, and that was why the press conference by the former vice president was allowed, because it is legitimate. But you know, in every situation there are red lines. The red line, for example, if something comes to the force using arms, then this is a red line for the state. Because what is the role of the government? The role of the government is to make sure that there is safety in the country, to protect the people, to provide security for everybody. Those who are advocating, even today, if somebody comes out through peaceful criticism, nobody will talk about it. That's why the president did not even react
Okay.
when they made that.
We're on extra time, so very quickly, the problem in South Sudan, like in many African